Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about McCarthy and the budget and changing positions. And we're going to go over a question from a Ukrainian and just kind of run through the reporting and talk about what's accurate and what isn't. Okay, so here's the message. I'm Ukrainian, so please forgive my English. I'm reading about the budget in different American and English news. Some say Ukraine will get $300 million in aid, and some say we will not. Ukrainian news is also split. They are all news with good reputations. They have contradictory quotations from American politicians. What is happening? First, your English is better than most Americans. Second, all of those news outlets are right. All of the reporting is correct, depending on what time of day within the last 24 hours they were written. Basically, it's a clown show up there. If I understand the order of events correctly, and I may not because there have been a lot of changes, my understanding is that the space laser lady, a representative from Georgia, she didn't want Ukraine to get the aid. So he took it out and said that publicly. And then he talked to some other Republicans who probably comprise a group with more votes who wanted Ukraine to get the aid. So he has put it back in. Then, if I understand this right, he is now saying that he would have taken it out, but it's just too complicated to take it out because of the procedures they're going to be using to vote on it. So in this case, it's a matter of the way news gets published. My guess is that because of the time delay, you have some outlets that are still reporting on what he said before the change, before he changed his mind, or the other Republicans changed his mind. At the end of this, the important thing to remember if you're Ukrainian and you are truly concerned about this, which I imagine you probably are, the people in the United States that actually understand foreign policy know how important it is, not just to you, but to the United States. Normally, when it comes to foreign policy, and this is about the only place where this is true in U.S. politics, normally the experts win. The experts are pretty well united in the opinion that continued aid to Ukraine is not just in Ukrainian interests, but also in the interest of the United States. Generally speaking, that's what happens when it comes to foreign policy. This isn't true when it comes to, well, pretty much anything else. But generally, when it comes to foreign policy, the experts win. And the experts are on your side. The Senate is certainly favorable to continuing to provide aid. The president is certainly favorable to continuing to provide aid. It is worth remembering that the current situation in the U.S. House of Representatives is just, it's a mess. It's a mess. Right now, when it comes to the confusion, there are pensioners, senior citizens, I don't know which term y'all use. There are older people in the United States who have low means, who have food delivered to them through a program called Meals on Wheels. They don't even know if they're going to fund that. It's a mess. If it was me, as hard as this is right now, I would limit reading coverage of the U.S. budget debates to maybe once a day and just pick the same time every day. That way you're not going to get a bunch of conflicting reports because it is changing by the hour. It's just a giant mess. The politicians up there, the leadership of one of the parties has, I don't want to say lost control because the control was never really there, but there is not a unified position in one of the parties in the U.S., and that party controls the House of Representatives. It is worth noting in the U.S. there's two houses. You have the House of Representatives and the Senate. The Senate's on board with the aid. There's probably going to be a whole lot more when it comes to changes over the next 6 days. If this is something that is stressing you out, limit your consumption. Just maybe once a day, check same time every day, and you'll be able to get a good read. My guess is here shortly, maybe even before this video comes out, you'll see coverage in Ukraine talking about McCarthy changing his mind. But it's just a mess. It's going back and forth. To Americans who are watching this, there are countries all over the world, there are people all over the world who are just as concerned about the issues going on in the U.S. House of Representatives as you are. It's that saying, the United States sneezes and Canada catches a cold. There are a lot of countries that catch a cold when the U.S. gets sick, when the government ceases to function because they're more interested in social media engagement than they are in doing their jobs. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.